Once upon a time, in a quiet village nestled at the edge of a wide green valley, there lived a groom, a man whose sole task was to take care of the noble horses belonging to a wealthy landowner. Among these horses was one in particular, a tall, sleek stallion with a flowing black mane and eyes that glimmered with spirit and pride. His coat shone like polished obsidian, and his hooves struck the ground with grace and strength. Everyone in the village admired him, and he knew it. The groom adored this horse more than any other in the stable. Every morning, he would brush its coat until it gleamed, braid its mane with ribbons, and polish its hooves until they glistened in the sun. He would sprinkle rosewater on its back and speak sweet words of admiration, calling it the finest horse he had ever seen. Passers-by would stop and marvel at the stallion's beauty, and the groom would proudly beam as if the praise were meant for him. But for all the grooming, all the praise, and all the appearances, there was one thing the groom never did. He didn't feed the horse properly. The stallion's food bucket remained half empty most days. The oats were stale, the hay dry and dusty. His strength slowly dwindled. His ribs began to show through his shiny coat, and the fire in his eyes began to dim. Still, the groom continued to polish and groom the horse daily, as if outward appearance was all that mattered. One day, as the sun dipped behind the hills and painted the sky in hues of orange and pink, the stallion turned his head and looked at the groom with tired eyes. "Why do you spend so much time brushing my coat?" the horse asked softly, "but give so little care to feeding me?" The groom, taken aback by the question, blinked and then chuckled. "Why, my fine stallion, everyone admires your beauty. I keep you polished and elegant so that others will see you and marvel at how well you're cared for." "But what is the point?" the horse replied, his voice weary, "of being groomed so finely if I am too weak to stand proudly? What good is the shine in my coat if I have no strength in my legs or joy in my heart?" The groom had no answer. The next morning, the horse did not rise from his stall. He lay there, exhausted and frail, too tired even to lift his head. The landowner came to see what had happened, and upon inspecting the feed buckets and the hay storage, quickly understood the truth. The horse had been starved, neglected in the most important way, all while being presented as the picture of health and care. The groom was dismissed immediately, and though the horse was nursed back to health by a new caretaker, a quiet man who spent less time braiding manes and more time ensuring each animal was strong, well-fed, and happy, the damage had been done. It took months for the stallion to regain his strength. His coat eventually lost its glossy sheen, but his eyes once again began to sparkle with life, and his legs carried him with power and dignity. From that day forward, the people of the village no longer praised animals, or people, just for how they looked. They had learned something deeper from the stallion's story, that true care means nourishing what's inside, not just polishing what's outside. And so, the fable teaches us this timeless lesson. It is better to be well-fed than finely groomed. Appearances may please the eye, but true strength comes from within. The moral of the story: fine clothes may disguise, but they do not nourish.